area. Everything's in Seoul. All right, let's get into it. Picks and bans for game number 2. And before we even get to the screen, Lee Sin banned out against Kakao.
Well, Lee Sin banned this game. Did make it through to a first rotation pick from Blue last time around. Oriana taken out again for Samsung Blue. Arrows going back to those Zed and that Thresh ban.
Yep.
And you know, Thresh really hasn't been a priority pickup for Hachani. He's played it, but definitely prefers the Alistar when it's available. Blue may last ban the Alistar right here unless they have plans to first pick it.
Yeah, you definitely do want to keep Thresh away from Heart, though. He is so good right now, man. Him and Mata, the top Thresh players, in my opinion.
Yeah, with the Alistar ban, the Maokai will be banned last. Lulu's still available. Kassadin has made it through. That is a champion that Dade is extremely good on.
Did we just see Dade get Kassadin?
Yes,
wow.
we did. All right.
We did.
Well, it goes through.
And Rise and Kha'Zix possibly. The Kha'Zix certainly working out for Kakao in game number 1. But will he be able to do it 2 games in a row? And Rookie.
Well, the thing about Rise is that against Kassadin, because Kassadin no longer has a silence, if he jumps anywhere near Rise, you can just Rune Prison him.
Yeah,
and he's a lot easier to deal with right now than he used to be. So Rise is kind of a newer counter pick up against this Kassadin, and that will be the Kha'Zix priority pick again. Very interesting to see it go first rotation.
Huh. 2 picks over to Samsung Blue now. We'll see what they decide to grab for their second rotation of picks here.
KT Arrows have gotten star stickers on their face. Their coach comes and gives them a star for their hard work.
That's right. They 100%ed the spelling test, so they get a star. Kakao gets multiple stars, not too bad.
Arrows deviating from those early AD carry picks that we were talking about coming into this match. In fact, they've deprioritized Kog'Maw entirely after picking him 5 out of 5 games in their semifinal.
Well, you got to bring something new to the grand finals. You certainly can't stick with what you've been doing all season. We've seen teams lose because of that. Cough, cough, CJ Blaze, cough, cough.
That's right.
And so Nami Kog'Maw, the strong bot lane, picked up by Blue.
Very strong lane. It's going to be putting a lot of pressure down, and they have to pick up a strong duo lane because they need to relieve pressure from mid lane in order to get this Kassadin to farm, and they're going towards a very, very good late game. Right now, of course, Kha'Zix an all-rounder. We're still on 4-13.
Wow, I mean, KT Arrows, I guess, saying if it's not broke, don't fix it, going with, so far, a nearly identical comp. They can't put Maokai in there, obviously, but what do you think would be a good substitute?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they play in the top lane right here. They're waiting for a top lane pick to come in from Samsung. Now, it could be a top lane Kassadin and a mid lane Jace.
Oh, yeah, that could be
also
too.
a possibility. We do see top lane Kassadin. Someday has played that champion in a blind pick game.
We've seen it built to AP and to AD as well.
Yeah, Trinity Force. Usually 90% of the time
usually
you build with AP, though.
All right. Well, if that window gets locked in, we're definitely seeing that Kassadin go to the mid lane. And Elise for Spirit, a strong jungle pickup.
And the KT Euros, we saw them do this against SKTS in the semifinal as well. They picked pretty much identical compositions until they lost with it. In fact, they had picked identical compositions in game 1 and game 2. Won game 1, lost game 2.
That's true, yeah.
And so
really?
their attitude is, we've got this composition that we like, that we think we're going to get the picks of, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's the onus is on you to beat us. And that's going to be a top lane Riven.
Wow, someday bringing the top lane Riven, something we have not seen in Champions for a long, long time.
This is very aggressive, of course, from the KT Heroes, very all in. And they bring back the quirky Zillion bottom lane for that early game pressure. They are going to perhaps get poked out a little bit early, though, by this Kog'Maw. We'll see.
Well, I mean, the thing is, too, is that Maokai obviously has that strong engage, and the threat to the Zillion ult on him is really good. I feel like the same thing could certainly apply to Riven once she gets going, too.
Yeah, and with Corky being able to babysit himself, and you have the Zillion ult after 6 when Kog'Maw and Nami get very strong together, they should be pretty well protected. Rookie just going to look to kind of farm it out with Dade in the mid lane. But the combination of Riven and Kha'Zix is insane burst damage. And Acorn is going to have a very difficult time staying alive in his lane.
Yeah, absolutely. We may not see that Mundo get to that tanky late game that we see him get to. And Rookie bringing the rise again. Played really well with it in game number 1. But Dade, man, getting a champion that he was, I guess you could say, born to play. Kassadin is definitely his style.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be really interesting to see this go down.
Yeah.
That Riven is so potent. Doesn't have Ignite, has to take Teleport. Just due to the meta right now, if the lane swap comes in, you need TP to catch minion waves and make sure you don't fall behind an extraordinary XP disadvantage.
Indeed. Well, here we go, guys. Game number 2. Can Samsung Blue tie it up? Or will the KT Arrows get a 2-0 lead? Let's get in the game and find out. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. You know, using the vertigo camera shot with Dade, I feel like cements his serial killer image even more. Just my opinion. Here we go, guys. Samsung Blue versus the KT Arrows. Blue looking to tie it up, but can they do it against the Arrows that have certainly arrived in Busan with more tricks up their sleeves than they had in the semifinals?
Well, the problem with their composition, and this Riven pick did change it around dramatically, because as we saw the Arrows trying to scale last game, if this Riven doesn't get ahead early, and yes, it is easy to get the Riven ahead early, but if it doesn't, I mean, the scaling from Mundo is going to vastly outstrip the KT Arrows, especially because they have the Corki as well. So the Zillion may be able to keep them alive, though, as long as they've got the revive onto the Riven. May be able to keep her around long enough, but just generally speaking, going an even gold into the late game.
Oh,
Deft.
Damage onto Deft. Deft walking into a bush he should not have been in. And Hart, though, did take that ebb and flow first, so he'll be able to do a little bit of sustain, and Deft is going to go back anyway.
Yeah, loop through the top side of the jungle, though, as they see 2 on the bottom side, so they do get some nice deep wards in. Mundo heading top. And they may be trying to 1v1 and 2v2 this.
I wonder, yeah.
Risky.
It's looking like standard lanes.
Now the thing about Riven and jungle as a top jungle combo is that when you have, there's no CC with Kha'Zix or Riven really, or very, very little of it. So it may be difficult to lock down Mundo, which means they have to kill him pre-6, because once he gets his ult, they're just not going to be able to kill him fast enough unless they already have a significant lead.
Right.
So Kakao, is he going to try something crazy like a level 2 gank? He's starting top side, which is not where you would expect him to start in this situation. You'd expect him to start blue, go to red, and then try and make a play onto Mundo, but instead, starting red, going to blue.
Yeah.
And he'll be on bottom side of the map, so it looks like he's going to farm it out for a little bit.
Now Deft helping out a little bit with that red does mean he's a bit behind Arrow early on, and they will get pushed back.
Meanwhile, Elise starting the opposite jungle path, so maybe looking for this Riven, or at least to chunk her and push out some of her aggression. You can see someday.
I think that's what you need to do. You don't need to necessarily kill the Riven.
You're not going to kill the Riven.
Yeah, exactly. But that's all you need to do is poke him out. Dade and Rookie. Really getting to be a great rivalry in Korea right now. Dade, of course, as you would expect, pushed back a little bit to begin with, but that may change as the game goes on.
Yeah, a lot of people who don't watch Champions, they know Faker, they know Dade as being very skilled, but Rookie, I mean, he's right up there with these guys.
Well, they call him Faker Jr.
Yeah,
you know, that was his nickname when he first came into the scene. Faker Jr., and he's really lived up to it, you know, and you know what? He's in the finals and Faker's not, so there you go. Spirit watching, and he's going to catch someday, and here's that poke we were talking about. Cleaver does land. There's a slow repel from Spirit. Helps him get a little bit more damage onto someday, and they got the flash. Man, they got everything they wanted out of that.
Yeah, this is why I found the jungle pathing for Kakao a little bit interesting this game. So that was a free play on their pressure lane.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kakao hasn't been able to turn his choice of pathing and buff start into much right now. So he's definitely fallen a little bit behind early on. He does get the first recall, grabs a ward in the Spirit Stone, going back up to top side at the moment.
Well, meanwhile in bot lane, it's been pretty bloodthirsty as both AD carries have taken a lot of damage. A lot of trading going on, but that's as it should be with the range of the 2-spell Thief's Edge. Wow, Dade, look at that.
Yeah, it is obviously going to be a little bit hard because Dade has that shorter range, and Rise is able to kind of run up at him.
Well, it was also a lot easier back when you had the silence too, right?
Yep.
You know, I mean, you wouldn't have that many spells coming at you to begin with.
It's really interesting because this matchup has changed so much, as we were talking about. Just Rise so good against Cassidy and
here we go.
as well.
Kakao coming in. They're going to try to get a play on the Dade. There's a flash after the flash from Dade, and Root Prison locks him up. First blood to Kakao, and there's a double Aqua Prison. A little bit more damage. I guess it didn't trap Arrow, but still. Nice gank onto Dade.
Now their allegedly powerful Riven lane is having a lot of problems. Someday has been zoned off a couple waves right now and is falling actually behind in CS, even though he's got a lot of creeps moving towards him. So they haven't been able to abuse that, but they do start to get Rise rolling, keep that Cassidy down.
Well, someday maybe playing a champion that he doesn't have as much experience on. We certainly haven't seen him play it any time in the recent past.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not something that he plays competitively until now.
Kakao is definitely starting to make his presence felt too. That gank in the mid lane, now stealing Wraiths. Just starting to be that bully that he wants to be. The self-proclaimed best jungler in Korea.
Best jungler in the world,
the world, oh, my bad, world. Well, if he wins Worlds, no one can argue with him then.
Hey man, it's not just about winning. You can be the best.
That is true. You can be the best and not win.
It's a team game.
Yep.
That's how it works.
I mean, I don't win a lot of games, but I'm the best.
All right.
So there you go. Perfect example.
Use it to justify that.
I can't think of a better example.
Thank you for twisting my logic.
There you go. Happy to twist your logic any day.
Well, Rookie, already level 6. Dade trying to come back to lane. He's got a mana crystal. Not a lot of survivability, however, yet.
No, not yet. Good damage, though. Wanting to be that bully. Deep ward from Spirit. Not going to be able to check things out. Good early warding, actually, from Samsung Blue in the enemy jungle. They've got that set up for the blue buff as it comes up in about a minute or so.
I'm not sure this is a good idea. They're not going to have control over their enemy's blue side because
it's going to be tough.
Rise is going to have pressure in the mid lane. So this is a lot of warding. Now they get the deep wards in. They'll get vision, but is
Whoa, Arrow over the wall onto Heart. Gets a lot of damage done, knows that Heart can't answer it very much. Meanwhile, action in the mid lane. Ghost activated by Dade. They're going to jump in. There's another kill onto Dade, rather. Ghost activated by Rookie, and that helped him get the kill. Spirit has to escape into his own jungle. Dade getting shut down pretty hard.
But Arrow has been out of lane for a while right now. Some pretty awkward movements by him, and now he's fallen behind in terms of experience. Here we go. Someday coming in, not level 6 yet. Acorn has to blow his ult.
Yep. And again, that takes away a lot of ganking potential for the KT Arrows. Now that Mundo is level 6.
Yeah, Deft has gotten an edge on this Corki before 6 as well. It's only going to get worse once Deft does have his ultimate to spam over the minion wave, because that's the advantage, of course, is that Corki has to thread those rockets in between minions. Well, Deft doesn't have to worry about that. He can trade through a minion wave just fine, or over, rather.
Pretty much. Well, for now, a little bit of a quiet moment as Rookie just farms. Looks like Dade may be going back to get ready for that blue. Oh, meanwhile, in the bot lane, Deft taking a lot of damage. Those bombs, pretty scary. And Achani, of course, did pick up that tier. If you don't, Zillion's pretty mana heavy.
Yeah, you really do have to get that item very early on, but it does delay some of your vision control, of course. Not picking up that sight stone, and so there's a pink ward being pinged in the river right now by the KT Heroes. They're letting Kakao know that it's there. He's not going to gank. There is a green ward in his jungle, so they're keeping some good tabs onto Kakao. But it's okay for Samsung Blue to be behind a little bit, just due to their scaling. You have to expect some deaths, and they haven't come on Mundo. Mundo's still staying even in CS, which is great.
Someday, Acorn trying to get him to come in. Being very aggressive now, gets him down to about half health, and someday it's just going to be forced out of lane. Meanwhile, Arrow really low. Will they get a kill? Zillion ult comes down. Deft getting ready, tries to get one onto Hachani. Then Deft sticking around for a long time. Flashing. Can he do it? No. Arrow gets the kill. And now Heart a little bit on his own here. In a bit of trouble, he may go down, and there's a bloodthirsty Nami to even things up.
Yeah, both supports getting the kills right there, actually. And
that's what I like to see.
That was some nice pathing by Heart, because he blocked some of the damage coming in from Arrow in terms of his rockets in order to give the kill over to Hachani instead. So at least he saved a kill onto the AD carry support for support. Not a lot gained from either team.
Dade just continuing to be really bullied in this mid lane. Kakao coming in to help Rookie get a little bit of extra turret damage done.
Yeah, 35 CS up on this Rise right now.
It's pretty huge.
That is a tremendous advantage on a champion that's only going to get stronger as the game goes on. Now we're going to start seeing perhaps a setup for Dragon right here, nearly 10 minutes into the game. Teleport used by Mundo on top lane. Someday had done the same thing, however.
True enough, so no teleport advantage for either side at the moment. We'll see who bites first on Dragon. Or will Dragon bite last?
Someday has gone for the triple longsword build. We typically see this on Zed players who will turn it into a Brutalizer and a Vamp Scepter eventually, but it's for the very early game powers like Arrow.
Arrow getting a bit caught. Can they lock him down enough with Heart, though? There's a nice Aqua Prism. They catch him with the Cocoon as well, and he goes down, and that's going to secure this Dragon for the KT Arrows. They'll take it, and they'll get out. Only losing Arrow.
Really sloppy positioning. Second time in 2 games that Arrow's died rather unfortunately in the river by getting caught out like that. He needs to make sure that he doesn't get collapsed on.
I suppose it distracted Samsung enough. I don't know. He's got that going for him anyway.
Made that Dragon even riskier. But Acorn happy to just farm up on the top side. Sunday's time was wasted. Acorn going to get some more XP, some more farm as a result of that. Looks like he's got a nice freeze developed up in the top lane as well. So Someday going to have to overextend if he wants to farm. Instead, Someday wants to go for the doubles.
Well, we see it. It's been such an aggressive game in lanes, just so much trading. And that's the kind of game Kakao loves, man. And now they're going to go into Heart. A bit of damage coming in from Def, and it looks like Spirit is coming down. They have to be so careful. Oh man, Def is low, he needs his jungler, and it looks like Arrow's gonna go all in. They get the kill, Zillion all comes out, but here's Spirit. Can they turn it around? And Chani dies, and Arrow in big trouble. Goodbye. Double kill for Spirit.
You can see how reckless the Arrows are in some of these plays. They didn't know where the enemy jungler was. Their jungler was nowhere near their lane, and they still engage in that kind of all-in, and it gets turned around on them. That's the risk you take. And they don't have vision control over the river. At least really could have been anywhere. They don't have really any vision of the bottom side of red buff. And that's the price you pay.
They don't just go ham, man. They go for the whole, not even do it, letting the minions handle it. Dade not allowing that to walk up and auto that once.
We'll see. I mean, they're doing well against Dade in the laning phase. They're denying him a lot of CS. Rookie is trading efficiently, and since it can literally be walked up to without a minion wave and knocked down at any time, sometimes you want to keep your opponent a little further forward.
I suppose. Johnny coming all the way down from top now.
Yeah, as a result of that tower being up still too, he's going to catch that minion wave a little closer to his turret instead of pushing it into a location where Cassidon would be able to farm more efficiently.
I see. That does help. Cannon minion, there we go, and the mid turret goes down. So KT even on kills and that first turret of the game. Okay, so there's a teleport up for Acorn. Takes it back to the top lane. So now Someday will have that edge for a little while anyway.
Now Acorn has gone for a Sunfire Cape first on Mundo, meaning that he wants to continue to split push against this Riven.
Yeah.
And considering he's gone even, he's in a really good place. He's going to be able to clear out minion waves very quickly and deal with Riven if he needs to. Riven just not getting that early advantage. Kakao not ganking up at the top side.
Yeah, you know, that surprises me a bit. You'd think they want to kind of boost this Riven against the Mundo. Nice catch on that Aqua Prism, but it seemed interesting that Kakao wasn't ever up there to gank.
Yeah, not to harp on this, but Kakao starting at red and going to blue was I think, the wrong choice in this game.
It's certainly starting to look that way, yeah, because I mean, yeah, Cassidon's scary, but if you want your Riven to be successful, you need to shut down that Mundo.
It doesn't matter when the mid lane really where you start in terms of your buffs, because you can gank from either side. It's that you want to make sure that you're there, and the Elise did a lot of work, blew that flash very early on, made it so Someday couldn't play as aggressively as he would like to, and that gave Acorn a lot of free farm, put him in the position he's in right now. 0 deaths and ahead in terms of CS.
Pretty good stuff. And meanwhile, the duo just dueling the bot lane. Brutalizer picked up for Someday. But I think he's going to need more than that.
A little bit of Dade's time wasted coming up to the top side just because Someday will not play forward, continues just to do the double golems instead. And so he's just been kind of on his own up here. And he's been playing like it, just conservative play, farm-oriented play.
Yep. More of what we saw in game 1, but this time it's not going as well.
Well, purely because of the champion. Not to say that Riven couldn't become a monster at any moment, because that's the constant danger when you're facing a Riven.
Right. You just get like one team fight where you get a triple kill and suddenly Riven is terrifying from then on.
Well, Trinity forces for both of these champions. Deft has zoomed out to a CS lead, courtesy of that level 6.
Yep.
And Dade's starting to get it together as well. His rod wasn't too delayed.
Dragon up in 10 now, and no real wards around. KT does have that nice ward behind the bit though, which is kind of good for seeing if anyone is coming to try to put more vision around the area.
Yeah, they need to go after this Dragon now.
They really should, yeah.
They have that big CS lead on Rise. He's got some defensive MR items as well, which will help against the Mundo and Kog'Maw poke.
Acorn already on his way down again. No teleport for him, so he has to walk it. Someday does have teleport, but
Someday does not want to team fight right now. What he needs to focus on is going after this tower. And wow, what an interesting buy. Someday with the cooldown boots into a distortion enchantment early in this game.
Wow. Samsung Blue trying to take this Dragon. Are they going to get denied? Someday trying to trade it for the top turret. Looks like Samsung Blue might get it. No, there's the teleport coming in. Rookie coming from the side, locks up Acorn. Acorn coming in. Spirit does manage to grab the Dragon for his team, but they lose him immediately. Now Kakao trying to get to the back lines and mess up Samsung. Dade goes down, and there's those Riven kills starting to stack up. Rookie grabs one as well, and things are going well for KT Arrows. They will actually nearly ace. Will they do it? Will they get the ace? They will! An ace off of that Dragon for KT Arrows, and that is a massive, massive lead now that they've gotten.
And getting those kills onto the Riven too. 3 of them coming in, just huge.
It's like I said, man, that Riven, if she gets a triple kill, it's lights out.
Yeah, that's going to be really difficult to stop with the split push right now, even with the scaling advantage that Samsung Blue possessed. But Rookie coming in, and the issue there is that Rookie already had his cowl and a rod, and that means that in a composition that is mostly magic damage, he's got great defensive stats. You see, going down onto Acorn immediately, Someday coming into the side, killing Spirit, and then zoning Acorn out. Now look at Kakao.
Very nice.
That burst damage, able to just isolate people and chunk them for enormous amounts. Now they tried to give a quadra here to Someday onto Heart, you'll see, but Heart will flash and force Arrow to take that kill instead.
Yep. Not the worst thing in the world to have another kill on your AD carry, I suppose, but Corky already picking up the T-Force and the Magic Pen boots.
Yeah,
and what a lead. I mean, this is, I feel like we're still seeing an aggressive KT Arrows team, but we're seeing them be much more successful in the mid-game, I feel like, tonight.
Yeah, and those...
Oh, a catch onto Rookie. Could barely see him with all the Samsung players over top. Manages to just walk out, though. Someday coming down to help out. And there's the turret. Oh, they get Spirit under the turret. No way. Dade comes over the wall for some revenge, though. But they're going to end up giving up Acorn. Another double onto Someday, onto Riven. That's terrifying.
Dade on the run right here. He's going to run straight into Rookie.
Episode 1 of To Catch a Dade seems to have worked. Arrow grabs that kill, and now on to Deft. Arrow, whoa, Arrow sticking around a little bit too long. They had the Zillion ult to keep him safe, but still, got to be careful.
Yeah, they've got the speed up though, so no real danger right there coming in.
Someday gets a turret on top of all of that. Wow.
This is getting to be a really large lead.
This is more of that kind of one-sided KT Arrows games that we saw in some of their quarterfinal, semifinal matches. When they win by a lot.
Yeah.
Like a close game with the KT Arrows like we saw in game 1, that's rare for that team. It's rare for them to win a game like that.
Okay, well, Rookie running up the turret, trying to clear this out right now. All right, if the gold lead is acceptable, the gold deficit, I should say, is acceptable for Samsung Blue right now. It cannot get any more than this, however.
Yeah.
And the big concern is, well, how do you stop it from getting any bigger when this Riven is this fed?
Well, they can still certainly come back, but not easily.
Well, they have the scaling edge.
Yeah, that is it.
In top and an 80 carry.
Oh boy, a big plan to gank Someday up in top lane, but it looks like it's not going to work out as he's just going to back away. Meanwhile, down at bot turret under threat, and they'll get it easily. 3 turrets to 0 for KTA now as they finish off the bot lane.
Yeah, I want to go back to this because a lot of...
Oh, here we go. Play on the hard. Deft has to back away. There's the tidal wave. Arrow gets knocked up, but it doesn't matter. Nearly took down.
This is a two-man Baron that's happening right now in 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. Samsung trying to sneak it a bit of a
This is so
desperation.
clever, but they don't have enough manpower to kill it.
I don't think they can do it. Yeah, they cannot two-man this, can they? They would know better than us, but I don't know, man. Someday, going back with a lot of gold, they brought Dade in. Does KT know what's going on? I don't think they do. What a sneaky Baron for Samsung Blue. This could change everything.
Oh my.
They got it. They actually got it.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it's a brand new game.
They're preying on the KT Arrows' lack of vision control. At 20 minutes, you need to shift some of your wards up into topside, or you have a large, not a large chance, but the enemy always has a chance to sneak that Baron once the 20-minute mark hits.
Right.
So if you don't have any wards up there, and a lot of teams are always, you know, first couple dragons thinking dragon, dragon, dragon. We need the wards on the bottom side of the map. But you have to have something up there, and someday is very sad.
Yeah, he's like, wait, there should be like a big worm monster thing in this pit, shouldn't there?
Well, a clutch sneak from Samsung Blue.
They out KT'd KT there. KT used to be the
KT Bullets used to be the ones who would do tricks like that, give you the run around, and that's really going to help Samsung Blue get into this late game, because now the brakes have been put on the KT Arrows train, and they can't just kind of drive straight into the Nexus.
Yeah.
They have to play more cautiously right now. And that may be the crucial time that Samsung Blue needs to just defend and farm it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Is Samsung Blue, they're always looking for the opportunity when they get behind to stall things out, to come back, to use that scaling that's in nearly all of their team compositions, and win in the late game.
Yeah, so what I've been trying to say for a long time about this Rise is that early MR that he managed to get, because so much of the damage is magic that's coming out of Samsung Blue. In fact, it's all magic except for Kog'Maw, and even Kog'Maw is partial magic damage just because Bio-Arcane Barrage will do % health magic damage. The fact that Rise had that big CS lead, that he was able to get some assists in the mid lane and pick up an early cowl, especially at that fight that we saw where he barely didn't die in the first attempt up in topside, meant that it gave the KT Arrows a lot of turnaround time that they wouldn't have otherwise had.
Right. Dragon's back up now, and KT Arrows looking to take this one. They're clearing out some wards in the pit. Now, will Samsung Blue decide to contest this? Top laners occupied with each other at the moment.
And I also think that if someday we're to itemize some MR right now instead of completing the Hydra, that it would just kind of be the nail in the coffin, really, because he can afford the defensive items with how big of a lead he has.
He certainly can. They will get this dragon, though, it looks like. Dade having to defend the mid lane. That'll be it. Dragon for the KT Arrows. They'll extend that lead to 6,000 gold.
Yeah, they're in a real good spot still.
Yep.
But they have to keep getting those objectives. Clean dragon take. Samsung Blue has just been kind of disinterested in dragons over the course of this series. They've lost most of them so far.
Yeah, that's true. I think they got one, maybe.
Yeah, they got one, but then they got
game.
aced.
Yeah, that's right. Won this game, and I think they got one last game too. The very first one, didn't they? Maybe not. I don't know. I only tested it.
So KT Arrows just going to go ahead and take their red buff. We'll see if they start a push right here as the Baron buff begins to wear off.
I feel like Samsung almost doing KT a favor and having a situation where they don't even need to worry about Baron this game. There we go. Easy. Had a hard time with
Baron control. We'll just take it early.
We'll get it 20 minutes, guys. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Good guys, Samsung Blue, helping KT Arrows out with their problems.
That's right. Good guy Blue. Or else you're my boy Blue. Is that what we're trying to say here? I guess.
Okay, here comes the pressure now.
Yep.
Baron should be close to up, and they do see Deft in the bottom lane. Will they trade a tier 1 here for a tier 2?
Well, looks like they certainly can. Yeah, without Deft there to defend it, it's going to be pretty easy.
Well, they know Nami and Mundo also not there to defend. They have no wave clear is the issue.
Yeah.
Samsung Blue.
They're continuing on, man.
Well, there's no wave clear there. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. Teleport coming down. They back off now. Acorn coming in. But no one else really there to fight with it.
No.
KT just playing it safe, though.
No more Baron.
Yep. Oh, there's a little bit of damage on that Johnny. Jade trying to do what he can. Oh, Arrow's got to be careful here. That was a ton of damage, actually. Corki, a very fragile champion. Now they have to defend their own mid turrets.
Okay, here we go. Siege coming in.
Well, like you said, though, it's not a lot of wave clear, but at least they've got that Kog'Maw.
Well, one of the problems, actually, for KT Arrows is once we hit the late game, and if Samsung Blue 5v5 groups, KT Arrows have really poor engage, like really bad engage with this composition. Of course, they do have some distortion boots up, so they'll have their flashes up more frequently, but if they don't flank with Riven or Kha'Zix, the tidal wave is going to be able to stop any kind of engage they have.
Yeah.
And really, truly, they don't have any primary form of engage. They don't have gap closers that aren't really flash, except for Kakao. He's obviously building very squishy. He's not going to last very long. He wants to be the cleanup kind of after the Rise ultimate. And so in order for them to get in rage with all the disengage and all the mobility is difficult.
They caught Acorn. Can they finish him off? No, not quite.
No, they can't do anything. There's no engage.
All right, Hype Killer Christo. Oh, they catch Someday. No kill there either. Spirit, tidal wave comes through. They get the knock up on the Arrow. This could be deadly. Arrow has to flash. Dade flashes in zone. He's immediately in death. Comes in to finish him off.
Well,
whoa!
Looks like Samsung Blue's going to win this one, Dog.
I think so, man. I think they've scaled enough. I think they've stayed alive enough that even though KT got that really nice lead that we always see them do, Samsung Blue doing what they always do and just coming back with patience, with methodical play, and they are certainly looking in prime position to take this one. Oh boy, Rookie. Wow, Def just walks right up. And they caught Achani too now. Nice Aqua Prison! And Hart helps secure that one. Kakao decides that he wants to donate too. GG for him. And Deft with the double. Someday coming in. What is KT doing? Filtering in one at a time. Yeah, sure, why not give the triple kill to Kog'Maw? Jeez. KT Arrows. What is going on?
Well, they survived that one. That is
meanwhile,
very Black Knight that you're seeing.
Yep, that's right. That shot is basically symbolizing the mood on the KT players right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
not very happy.
How can KT Arrows come back on this one? Lots of minions for Samsung Blue to go ahead and push out at the moment.
Yep.
Another Baron up this time. But KT Arrows, there's not really even a way they can split push efficiently because a 1-4 with Kha'Zix and Rise is not the most efficient way you can actually create a 4-man core to continue sieging.
Well, as strong as that Riven is right now, they definitely need a lot more than that. She's still a bit fragile. Hart taking some damage, but that's okay. Well, heal up pretty easily with Nami.
You just saw the peel and re-engage potential. There's so many gap closers. Yeah. The AoE knockup able to come in as well. And Mundo is getting more and more and more unkillable as the game goes on.
I would say so. Def grabbing his red buff.
You also notice that, yeah, Arrow is itemized this game just purely for poke. Trinity Force and Last Whisper. So going for a bit of a different style of build.
Would have worked a bit better if they had been able to kind of continue snowballing that lead. I feel like that's a buying decision where it's like, oh, we're really far ahead, we think. We'll just keep adding on the damage and make it hard for them to come back, but now that may not be as helpful.
Yeah, we'll see. Samsung Blue doesn't have the greatest engage either. They're mostly about counter engage and then using the Cassided gap closer to catch back up. So pretty much they have to rely on Elise Cocoon, but that's actually more than the KT Arrows have without summoners, so.
Oh, wow, he got it. Nice little red steal. Arrow stealing his own red back, rather.
Great vision control topside from Samsung Blue. And can they finally take this tier 1 top turret? Acorn pulling off those minion waves in just a second. Someday going in.
Yep, that's right. Meanwhile, Dragon being taken down the bottom by Samsung. Looks like Acorn should get away without his ultimate. Actually, he's in a bit of trouble. There's no turret there anymore. Arrow, he's going to come in. Okay, there's a cleaver onto Arrow, but either way, Acorn looks like he's in trouble. Might as well have just stabbed there and killed the turret, in my opinion. But I guess
top though,
he's
they're
going to go down.
mid.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Will they be able to do anything with it, though?
They actually should have gone bottom right there. That was a bit of a mistake. Actually, that's such a hard call because had they gone bottom, they could have given up Baron. So, but they have vision over that area. Could have been a little less worried. I think they could have just sent Cassidy bottom to put some pressure onto the tier 2. And in fact, they're going bottom right now regardless. This may prompt a Baron play. Acorn has his TP up, but 25 seconds till revive.
Yeah. Looks like Samsung Blue will be able to claim this bot lane tier 2 turret almost. They've got a lot of minions. Maybe they'll be able to finish it off. We'll see.
They just get out of there. They know they've got the damage. No need to take the risk. Samsung Blue may have a goal deficit, but don't be confused. They're in the lead right now.
Right. Yeah, strategically, they're pretty far ahead. Well, Samsung Blue wanting to finish off that bot lane tier 2 turret. Checking the brush just to make sure there's not a ribbon hiding in there. You can blow up your 80 carries pretty quick.
Yeah, Jade with the hourglass. So looking for that survivability.
Yep, Kakao trying to zone a bit, making room for Rookie to come down on Rise. But there's just not a lot that KT can do at this point.
No, and Arrow moving up into the mid lane at the moment. And Chani there also. Just give a little bit of a drive-by. They're on the hunt for some enemy buffs. They know exactly where Acorn is.
Yep.
Maybe they'll try and set up a pick right here. It's about all they can do.
Well, it's the type of thing that certainly worked for them in the past, so why not? They're moving right up to Baron, though. They're going to clear out that ward, I would imagine. Yep. And then what will they do with this vision control? All right, coming in, they lock up Def. Kakao over the wall. Def very low, nice tidal wave. Still doesn't save Def, but it was a good try. Meanwhile, KT coming in to try to do even more damage to Johnny, a little bit low. Kakao has to back off for a moment, but Arrow doing so much damage from the side. They claim 2 kills, and now a little bit too low health to turn onto that Baron, though.
No, they can't do Baron.
Yeah.
Dade's still at full health right there. You will get blown up by Cassidy in that situation.
Yep.
So they get a couple kills, and those are the picks that KT needs, but they're not able to turn it into an objective because they are so chunked by that.
Right.
And that's about it.
Well, I mean, we saw them trying to make picks, and that's exactly what the KT Arrows were able to do. They were able to lock down Deft. Kakao comes over the wall, finish him off. And Acorn, kind of a bonus, I would say there.
Yeah, it's just not going to be enough, though. They're going to have to do even better than that in creating picks, and kind of getting 2 free kills is pretty darn good by itself. But when you can't kill the Cassidy as part of that, makes your life pretty difficult.
It certainly does.
Dade just stacking up more and more HP. Another needlessly large rod right now. Distortion enchantments everywhere.
And so, KT Arrows trying to set up more picks. They need to get that vision back again. And they're doing it.
Well, Dade clears out a pink ward right there.
Yeah.
Pretty safe, and they start to push that ward line forward. Arrows have control over their side, but they've lost vision on the river right now. Kakao with that W evolve last again.
Like any team fight now, Dade can just go off. Just start wrecking people.
Well, that's why we see a lot of Cassidy bans in this league, and in every league.
And in every league.
In the League of Legends.
The greater league.
Acorn taking white for some reason.
Hey, that's
he
the
didn't get it.
He wanted it because it's a Samsung white. Oh, Kakao gets caught.
He's dead.
Zillion ulted, but he's not coming back from that one. I don't think so anywhere. Flashes, ults, tries to get away with the invisibility, but here comes Dade. Spirit backing away. They do get the kill. 2 kills for the Arrows coming in now. Actually, no, for Samsung, my bad. Arrow chasing things down. They will try to catch Dade. Zonia's on cooldown, I believe, so they should get it. No, there's the Zonia's. Acorn in the back lines, making trouble for Someday. Double kill, though, comes in for Arrow. And what a fight! Everyone just kind of eliminating each other, but in the end, Acorn and Hart make it through. What a messy fight.
Yeah, even though they collapsed very well onto Deft right there, the KT Heroes just didn't have enough cooldowns in order to chunk Acorn. When everything was said and done, Acorn just absolutely massive on this Mundo right now.
Yeah, I thought that one was going to be a lot cleaner than it ended up being.
Well, Yeah, they caught out. They also burned the Zillion
Let's
ult
watch
really
that replay
well.
again.
Great engage right there. He dies at the end of his leap. Now coming in, Hart has to flash over the wall right here. Deft starts walking up, but he gets flanked immediately by Rookie. This is not good positioning.
Yeah.
And look at that, Someday arriving via the teleport as well, so they get an immediate flank onto the carry. Basically a great team fight for the KT Arrows, but you see the scaling issue right here. Once Acorn gets in the mix, Dade hits everybody with the Force Pulse as soon as coming out of that Zhonya's. Yeah, he goes down, but there's just not enough left to kill Mundo.
Yeah. What a turnaround for Samsung Blue. And they have evened up the gold now as well. Not that the gold is a big issue since we're both over 60,000 for each team.
Yeah, death cap now for Dade. The Kassadin getting scarier and scarier and scarier.
Yeah. Death cap for Dade. It's a great band.
Fantastic.
Yep. He would do an emo band too, wouldn't he? Either that or like death metal, you know?
Uh-oh.
Acorn walking into try someday has to get out of there. Hard coming through though. I don't think they can quite make a big note.
Well, they're trying to get control over Dragon at the moment, but this is dangerous. I mean, Ryze can do that Baron very quickly alongside Kha'Zix with the isolation damage.
Or KT just walking up there and saying, all right, well, we see you're interested in Dragon, but how about we just take Baron while you do it?
I don't think it was worth losing this kind of control over the Baron pit from Samsung Blue just to walk down a Dragon and not take it. Now they have to set up a bunch of wards again.
Yep, easy to get vision back if there's no one around to stop you.
All right, but they sweep in, move the wards in very efficiently. Go ahead, take that blue. They're not going to give up the Dragon after, or they are going to give up the Dragon, at least for the moment. Well, they're not protecting their wards at all.
I know, well, both teams just losing waves of wards. Here we go, Kakao. Dade has his own his early arrow on the outside. Tidal wave comes through, puts him on the fight. Dade gets into the back lines, and Rookie's still looking pretty healthy as well. Acorn finally coming in, lands a cleaver. Kakao tries to get out, nearly dead, turns with the big W, so oh, but the snipe from Deft. And now Samsung still on the hunt. 2 kills already. They'll leave it at that. They can turn on to this Baron.
Yeah, they need to take the Baron right now. Go ahead, take the objective you came for. You've got 5 men up. Their jungler's down. Dade zoning on the outside. Arrow!
Dade still wants kills, man! Goodbye, Arrow. Hachani there as well. Rookie comes down. Another double for Dade. He's going to give it over in the end to Zillion, I guess. Hart tried to get that last hit onto Baron with the Aqua Prison. Nice try.
Well, they get it, though, and
they do.
4 for 1 in a Baron. Samsung Blue moving out to their lead. And this is what Samsung Blue does, people. They make the calls that get them back in the game. They took a risk. They knew how far behind they were. They get a 2-man Baron. They play patiently. They wait to outscale, and then they win through superior team fighting. Samsung Blue in a nutshell.
Yep, they even get the Dragon in the end. All the objectives belong to them.
Let's take a look at this one again. Yep. I mean, Dade just tools people right in front. Someday gets deep, he gets onto Deft, but the exhaust cuts his damage significantly. They collapse onto him immediately. Dade with the early zone use into the Rift Walk back in, so great target calling onto Someday, and then they're able to turn after that.
Really nice tidal wave by Hart as well throughout that, because he was able to split up the team and even get the knock-up onto Arrow at the end that kind of kept him out of the fight.
Wow, this goes back to it.
Such good team fighting, yeah.
KT Arrow's composition, they can neither split push nor can they engage in a team fight effectively, and that's why we're seeing them fail. I mean, this is really a team comp that doesn't know what it wants to do, and therefore is just kind of doing nothing, even when we have a game. You would look at a normal game and you'd say 8-3 and 4 Riven. Well, this is probably over, but in this case, there's not an optimal way to utilize this Riven.
Yeah. Huh. It's interesting because we have a lot of, you need a lot of peel in general right now. Your AD carry, especially if you run a lot of Kog'Maw. And so with all that peel, it's dangerous to bring a Riven into that. I'm surprised, actually, to have the Riven picked into this Nami.
KT Arrows, they sometimes play weird picks.
They do.
That's the thing is, if they're ahead in a series, a lot of the reasons why Arrows games have gone to Game 5 in the playoffs is that they make a weird pick. Somebody plays top Elise, they play Blitzcrank, they do something that isn't optimal, and then they lose the game because they have a suboptimal team composition.
Yeah.
But then they kind of go back to normal stuff, and then they just crush their opponents. So it's hard to say.
Well, up in top lane, looks like Acorn getting ready to take that one down at some point. cannon minions gone way off the line. All right, Samsung with the siege. Can they take an inhibitor turret here? I would guess it probably can. Again, you know, it's just the engage, not easy for KT. Riven coming down, teleport available if she needs it.
Indeed.
Well, they'll just back off though.
And yeah, they're moving up, looks like over to the mid lane right now, going to leave that tower alone for the moment. Acorn continuing to push forward. They're just having a little fun with the rotating between the two lanes, getting what damage they can. This tower's about to fall. Def gets a free shot.
They're going to get the turret too. There we go. And now moving on to the inhibitor. Achani getting a little bit low in the process someday with no real way to engage. And that was an easy pickup for Samsung Blue. I feel like we just kind of saw what the rest of the game is going to be. KT looking like they might want to engage. Spirit getting locked up for a moment. Wow, Arrow really getting poked hard by Deft.
Yeah, you're not going to trade with a Kog'Maw at 40 minutes with Corki.
Yeah.
Got that W right over the wall. Kakao taking a little bit of damage from that ebb and flow as they continue to press forward.
Here we go, moving on to the second inhibitor turret. Can they just repeat the process? Baron buff's still up. I don't see why not.
So Def to use W on that wave, so he's not equipped to fight right now.
Yep, there we go. Second inhibitor turret down. Moving on to the inhibitor yet again. Samsung Blue,
teleport,
the teleport. Sunday's trying to come from behind. Can he do it? He has the flash. What a stun! What a play by Sunday. They need to follow it up though. Here we go, Kakao trying to get the back lines. It's Samsung Blue. They somehow live. They live. And there's a triple kill for Def. That is it. A great attempt by the KT Arrows, but it wasn't enough. Too little, too late. Quadra. Will he get the penta? Not quite. A Cathian surprise. Didn't quite do it.
Def just sad he didn't get that penta, but
yeah,
man, and that's the problem here is you can see that was the KT Arrows' only way to force a fight.
It was really perfect too, man.
It was, but if
enough.
you have to engage by relying on a teleport Riven flank, you probably don't have the best team composition.
Well, that's the truth, and that is going to be the end of game number 2. Samsung Blue ties it up 1-1. GG.
Great series so far, though.
Awesome series, man. We have seen 2 spectacular games. Deft, he just won the game, but he's feeling kind of depressed. Again, he's like, more like a Cathian fail. Burrito buff, please.
I could have had that surprise penta, Cathian surprise penta, but
right.
denied.
Oh well.
And there's Acorn at the end.
And did a very good job of handling Riven one-on-one at the top lane.
Yep, indeed.
Yep.
Came back, had a couple early deaths, but they cleaned up the Arrows at the end. Arrows just, they couldn't close it out fast enough. And, you know, had they had that warded Baron, had they not given up that 20-minute Baron, they probably would have won that game. But as soon as that 20-minute Baron went down and Blue was able to stabilize a little bit, they clawed their way back in with scaling and really abused the Arrows' lack of initiation.
And that's really what makes Samsung Blue so good, is that they can make decisions like that on the fly, and they're always just perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the strength of this team. That's where you see this veteran status, is that in their ability to play from behind, to understand exactly how they're going to win the game. They just kited it out in that fight in mid lane, and that was the real turning point right there. That's right. So, guys, that is going to be it for game number 2. But when we come back, the 3rd game in the OGN Champions Summer Grand Finals between Samsung Blue and the KT Arrows. Who takes the lead? Come back and find out.